Don't let the fizzing bubbles and crystal-clear appearance deceive you. Tonic water is not your ordinary carbonated drink. It is a living fossil of the colonial era, a bitter medicine perfectly disguised as a refreshing beverage. Many mistakenly believe its sharpness comes from citrus or herbs, but in reality, you are consuming an essence extracted from the bark of an ancient tree. In this episode, we will strip down how a survival remedy against malaria became an indispensable companion at every bar in the world.
I'm Edward. Let's audit the essence of the ordinary, right here on QC Project Simple Things.
At its core, tonic water is not just sparkling water. It is an opinionated beverage designed to command the palate. While sparkling water or club soda is merely carbonated water, a neutral blank canvas sometimes seasoned with a pinch of minerals, tonic water is a complex symphony of sweetness, citric sharpness, and a deliberate bitter edge. If you've ever accidentally grabbed a bottle of tonic expecting the invisible fizz of a standard mineral water, you know the shock. One is a silent base, the other is a bold statement. A technical insight often overlooked is tonic's unique ability to activate 3 sensory zones simultaneously. The sugar provides sweetness, the citric acid adds lift, and most importantly, one defining ingredient delivers a bitter punch that resets the entire flavor experience. Unlike regular soda, it's not fruity or citrusy, but earthy and sophisticated. This structural balance transforms tonic water from a simple soft drink into a liquid with a medicinal soul. It isn't just carbonated water plus sweetener, it is a carefully calibrated intersection of chemistry and history. The one ingredient that transforms a simple soda into tonic is quinine. The name itself sounds like it belongs in a pharmacy rather than a beverage aisle. At its core, quinine is a naturally occurring alkaloid extracted from the bark of the cinchona tree, native to the Andean forests. Unlike the slow burn of chili or the nasal sting of mustard, quinine's bitterness is clean, sharp, and strangely refreshing. It delivers a medicinal bite that hits fast and dissipates elegantly, a technical insight often overlooked. For centuries, this bark wasn't a flavor, it was a survival tool. Quinine was the primary weapon against malaria, a mosquito-borne disease that dictated where humans could live, travel, and thrive. This is the SST-sized idea. One small molecule rewired the drinking habits of an entire civilization. It didn't happen through force, but through habitual integration, quietly shifting from a harsh medicinal bark to the indispensable backbone of modern mixology. The story of tonic water didn't start in a modern factory. It began in the 17th century, amidst harsh tropical landscapes where a single fever could decide the fate of an entire empire. Back then, when medicine still clung to the miasma theory, believing diseases rose from bad air in marshes, malaria was a haunting, invisible villain. It wasn't just cycles of chills and heat. It was a destructive system that abandoned projects, delayed ships, and uprooted families. Over time, hope emerged from the ancestral wisdom of the Quechua people in the Andes, who had long used cinchona bark to extinguish violent fevers. Once Jesuit missionaries brought this bark back to Europe, scientists isolated the active compound and named it quinine. Suddenly, a piece of wild tree bark became a measurable medicine, something you could dose, ship, and distribute worldwide. Quinine became precious not because it was pleasant, but because it offered sovereignty over an unseen enemy. In that era, bitterness was a small price to pay for certainty. When you sip tonic water today, you aren't just drinking a carbonated soda, you are literally tasting a survival legacy. A liquid that once stood as the fragile line between life and death for millions of souls. By the 1800s, British colonists in India faced a challenge that wasn't about science, but about palatability. They were issued quinine as a mandatory prophylactic, but the problem was absolute. Quinine is intensely bitter. It triggers a biological rejection reflex, where your mouth literally tries to expel the substance. To survive, people engineered a tactical workaround. They mixed quinine with sugar and carbonated water. Back then, this mixture became the prototype for tonic water. The bubbles acted as a distraction, while the sweetness softened the jagged edges of the medicine. Over time, the name tonic was adopted not for prestige, but for practicality, a daily ritual designed to neutralize a daily threat. Tonic water wasn't invented to be refreshing. It was invented to be swallowable. When you sip it today, you are experiencing a legacy of compromise, where sweetness successfully negotiated with the body's instincts to keep a civilization alive. So why does this pairing create such a stable flavor profile? The answer lies in molecular synergy. When British officers mixed gin into their daily quinine dose, they unintentionally performed a chemical reaction. The aromatic molecules in gin's juniper and the quinine molecules both share an amphiphilic structure, meaning they have both water-loving and oil-loving ends. A technical fact: in a carbonated environment, these two groups of molecules naturally attract and surround each other. As a result, aromatic compounds that are typically difficult to dissolve in water are released uniformly, creating a smooth sensory experience instead of a jagged, isolated bitterness. Over time, as medical science advanced and quinine levels were reduced, tonic water remained. People no longer consumed it for prevention, but for the calibrated chemical reaction itself. The ritual outlived the original reason, transforming a survival solution into a technical standard in modern mixology. Take a glass of tonic water into a club under UV light, and you'll witness a strange phenomenon. The transparent liquid suddenly glows a vibrant blue. This isn't an industrial chemical trick. It's the physical fingerprint of quinine. Quinine possesses a highly photosensitive molecular structure. When it absorbs UV rays, its electrons become excited and release energy as visible light. This fluorescence actually made tonic a laboratory measurement tool in the 19th century, long before it became a bar staple. However, do not let the high-tech glow or the medicinal bitterness deceive you. Modern tonic is essentially a soft drink in a lab coat. With quinine levels slashed to just 20 milligrams per glass, enough to trigger a sensory signal but medically useless, manufacturers compensate for the harshness with massive amounts of sugar. If you audit the molecular sugar density, many classic tonics have a glycemic index comparable to a cola. The bitterness sends a psychological signal to the brain saying, "This is healthy," but the label confirms it's a soft drink. The name tonic is now a linguistic relic, a flavor memory preserved to mask a sweet industrial reality. Many people think that tonic's bitterness is a guarantee of a healthy choice. But here's the truth. Bitterness is a sensation, not a nutrition claim. Your tongue can easily detect the presence of quinine, but it is completely powerless to warn you about the massive sugar content hiding right behind it. While it feels cleansing or medicinal, the reality is that its glycemic impact is often identical to that of a standard soda. The most persistent myth is that tonic water cures leg cramps. It sounds plausible because quinine and muscle cramps share a long historical association. But let's audit the numbers. To reach the therapeutic threshold required to actually affect muscle tissue, you would need to consume dozens of liters of tonic daily, an amount of sugar and acid that would wreck your system long before it helped your legs. Any relief felt is more of a placebo effect or simple rehydration than a miracle cure. Tonic isn't a reliable remedy, it is a soft drink with a medicinal echo. Don't mistake a historical legacy for a modern medical solution. In the modern world, tonic is no longer a remedy. It has evolved into a structural tool for mixology. Look at the market divergence. On one side, you have industrial tonics focused on absolute transparency and consistent sweetness. On the other, artisan brands are performing a reverse audit of history, a technical audit insight into tannic compounds. When artisanal producers use raw cinchona bark instead of purified quinine, they aren't just extracting bitterness. They are capturing natural tannins from the wood. This is the exact reason why premium tonics often appear amber or cloudy and leave a sophisticated dry sensation, astringency on the palate, a characteristic that industrial machinery simply cannot replicate. Whether you choose a diet version with stevia for a sharper finish or flavored infusions like elderflower or grapefruit, you are essentially choosing how your bitterness is dressed. Modern life didn't preserve tonic out of a medicinal memory. It kept it because it functions as a unique balancer, providing the essential framework for both classic cocktails and modern mocktails. It has shifted from a survival prescription to a technical standard of sophisticated taste. I want to give you the 10-second rule. This is the fastest way to tell if the tonic in your hand is a medicinal legacy or just industrial sugar water. Next time you're in a space with UV light, spend those 10 seconds on a ghost check. First, hold your glass under the light. If it erupts into a vibrant blue glow, you are holding authentic quinine, a photosensitive molecular structure that cannot be faked. Second, when you take a sip, focus on the 5-second finish. A high-quality tonic will leave a characteristic dryness, astringency, on the sides of your tongue from the natural tannins, rather than a cloying, sticky sweetness from corn syrup. Finally, take a deep breath. The aroma should be an earthy blend of dried herbs, not a harsh chemical citrus punch. In just 10 seconds, you aren't just guessing, you're reading the DNA of an ancient remedy. You are auditing the balance between chemistry and history right on your palate. So, should you continue to enjoy this intensely bitter drink? It depends on what you value. A momentary sweet rush from industrial sugar water or a survival legacy that once saved an entire empire. Tonic water is more than just fizz. It is proof of human ingenuity in transforming a harsh remedy into a symbol of sophistication. If you enjoyed this story about that brilliant bitter legacy, tell us in the comments what simple thing we should explore next. Your idea might become our next episode.
I am Edward, and this is QC Project Simple Things. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the simple things in everyday life. See you in the next one.